Welcome to This Week in High School Sports. Teresa Whipple here with Steve Willits. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you.
Yeah, thanks to our sponsor, Red Onion Burgers, for supporting the show. We really appreciate it. And we are going to jump right into cross country. Maybe I should say run right into cross country.
Run, jump. They do a little bit of everything when they're out there. One thing they do is compete as a district, a school district, once a year. The Edmonds School District cross country meet, which takes place right before we start to roll into districts and eventually state. And that took place this past Wednesday over at Ballinger Park. And surprise, 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 the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors more or less dominated the competition as they've been doing all season long and really for as long as I can remember. The boys taking the top 5 spots from the Warriors. So Diego Peraza winning with a time of 16 minutes and 18 seconds. And we'll give a little shout out to the next 5. I should say the top 4 were Edmonds-Woodway. The 5th place was Lynnwood. But Diego takes first place. Lucas LaCambra second. Dylan Hartano was third. Grant Christian 4th. And all 4 of them finishing within 14 seconds of one another. And then 9 seconds behind Grant was Micah Murphy from Lynnwood, finishing with a time of 16:41. So definitely a lot to be proud of for all 5 of them. And then when we go over to the girls' side of things, they did, in fact, take the top 5. It was all Edmonds-Woodway. Stephanie Robluski, 19 minutes and 14 seconds, which was 40 seconds faster than second place. So Stephanie was already able to go off, grab a bite to eat, come back, and feel relaxed. And well, not quite, but you know what I mean. Alyssa Hershey took second place with Ellie Gard finishing third, Gemma Wilcox 4th, Caitlin Rust 5th. And now everybody's going to head up to Lakewood High School next week for the district match, which includes Mountlake Terrace too. So it's not just the 3As, it's the 2As as well. So best of luck to all of our runners up there next weekend.
Yeah, and we also had a lot of football action over the weekend too.
We did. We've got one more game left in the regular season now. So these games kind of carried a little bit of weight to them. Unfortunately, a few of our teams didn't do very well. And the one we want to make reference to immediately was Mountlake Terrace, because they were trying to make history this past Friday night. They were trying to win their first ever division/conference title of any sort, and they would have done so if they would have defeated Bellingham. Unfortunately, Bellingham had other ideas. Final score 17-7, so it was a hard-fought game, but the team from the South Snohomish County region coming up on the short end of the stick there. So still a lot to play for Mountlake Terrace. They're going to be over in Duval playing Cedar Crest on Friday night this week, and then they move into their playoff round the following week. And then as far as the other schools in the Edmonds School District, the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors, something's going on there. They've woken up, and they're playing very well lately. They defeated a 5-1 Shorewood team. I should say a previously 5 wins, 1 loss Shorewood team, because they got their second loss on Friday. The Warriors defeating Shorewood 20-17. A game that Edmonds-Woodway trailed by 10 in the second half. Capaccio Cherry, 2 more touchdowns. He carried the ball 36 times for 184 yards. So Capaccio getting a lot of the workload there, and no doubt getting some nice blocking from his offensive line as well. So congratulations to the Warriors on their second victory of the year.
And a homecoming win, too.
And a homecoming win at that. So, yeah, we've done very well with our homecoming games this year. So 3 of our schools getting homecoming victories this season. And then Meadowdale had a little bit of a rough night against Shorecrest, but they're looking to rebound against Snohomish coming up on Friday. So this coming week, doubleheader over at Edmonds Stadium. We've got Shorecrest and Lynnwood at the 5 o'clock match. Snohomish and Meadowdale playing at 8 o'clock. And then as far as the other 2 teams, they're both going to hit the road. We already mentioned Mountlake Terrace going over to Cedar Crest. And then Edmonds-Woodway playing a 5 o'clock kickoff over at Everett Stadium against the Everett Seagulls. So that should be a fun matchup to watch. So a lot of opportunities to watch football before we start to talk playoff football the following week.
Yeah, I can't believe we're already there. The time has just flown by, as it always does.
It does in the fall, especially for some of these sports where they play for 6 or 7 weeks, and then all of a sudden we're shooting right into postseason play.
That's right. And we've got some volleyball to talk about, too.
We do. A lot of good volleyball played this past week, and some of our teams are still battling for positions, battling for playoff spots, one of which is the Lynnwood Royals. They had 2 matches this past week. They lost the first set of each one of those matches. Monday, they were playing Shorewood. They then ended up defeating them 3-1. Wednesday, they fell behind Archbishop Murphy 2-0 and had to come back and sweep 3 sets from them to get the victory over the Wildcats. We figured it was a good week to bring them in and talk about their season. So here's a conversation we had with Ashley and Riley from the Lynnwood Royals volleyball team. The Lynnwood Royals volleyball team picking up 2 victories this week, raising their record to 5 wins and 4 losses. And with us right now, 2 of the seniors on the team, Riley Monan, who is sitting right next to me, who is an outside hitter, and Ashley Anderson, who is a setter. Both seniors, both on the show last year, so welcome back.
Thank you.
And congratulations on a nice week. And I guess we're going to start off the conversation very similar to what we had with Edmonds-Woodway last week. We had a couple of their girls in after they had dropped a set. They defeated one of their opponents 3-1. You one-upped them, so to speak. You had 2 matches this week. You won both of them. Shorewood, you dropped the first set, and then you win the next 3. Archbishop Murphy, you go down 0-2, and then you have to run off 3 in a row. Riley, what is that like? I mean, I've got to think that when you're in that big of a hole and you know you've got to win 3 consecutive sets, do you just kind of let it all fly and go whatever happens, or what's the mentality of a team when you're down 0-2?
Really intense. Like, we just go all out. We really play together, I feel like, more than we did in the past. What do you think?
I would agree. I think we just play like we have nothing to lose because we really don't. When there's possibly one more set to play, we just want to leave it all on the court.
And with so many things going on in the standings right now, a lot of shuffling, and it's kind of that middle of the pack group right now. It's Meadowdale and Edmonds-Woodway and Lynnwood and a few others. Each one of these matches is so vital right now too, Ashley, right? I mean, you guys are really kind of fighting for a district spot right now.
Oh yeah, we don't want to have to do a play-in game, and so we want to try and get as many wins as we can.
And a nice start, 2-0 last week. Shorewood, you defeat them to start the week off. That was on Monday. And I understand, Riley, you guys might have a connection over there with one of the coaches, correct?
Yeah, they're an old friend, I guess. We played for them and with them all the time. So
Club volleyball, the 2
Yeah.
of you. So which club was it?
It was WAVA.
So you played on WAVA with this coach. So is it a little more enjoyable when you get to beat your former coach? I've got to think it's a friendly thing, right? So what did coach say afterwards?
he just said good game, like you played really good. And
Yep.
So he's proud of you, but it's a little bittersweet at the same time.
Exactly.
I can imagine. One of the big matches that's coming up this week, and it's one that we promoted last week, and we want to do it again. You are over at Edmonds-Woodway this Tuesday, and that's the Pink Out game. So we're promoting breast cancer awareness and also raising money for a good cause. Edmonds-Woodway mentioned last week when we had Elizabeth and Kristen in here that it was kind of a joint effort between the 2 schools. So what is Lynnwood doing right now, Ashley, to prepare for that game? Or what are we going to see from Lynnwood that's maybe different than we don't normally see?
Well, during warm-ups, we're all going to be wearing pink shirts that say Dig for the Cure. And we're going to be wearing those during warm-ups. We have to take them off for the game, obviously, because jerseys. But we also might be wearing like pink socks, and we're going to try and get the parents to wear pink in the stands. So
Very cool. So, and I think some cookies are going to be sold throughout the night that are other things, baked items and things raising money for breast cancer awareness. So again, Edmonds-Woodway High School is where the game is, so a road game for you, but you don't have to travel very far for that one, so we hope to see a lot of folks out there. And anytime, Riley, when we see Edmonds-Woodway and Lynnwood get together, it's a rivalry, but it sounds like on the volleyball court, kind of a fun rivalry, right? A lot of friends amongst the teams?
yeah, I think you're friends with a lot of them too. Like, all of them that are on the team, I'm really good friends with, so it's amazingly fun to just play against them. Because, like, you know how they play, but you also know, like, them off the court, too. So, like, it's, like, personal, but, like, also it's a game, so.
And the 2 teams are tied in the standings right now, so evenly matched. And again, Ashley's given me that big head gesture that she knows that it's a big one. So, and the coaches know each other, too. Is that right? Are the coaches friends as well?
Yeah, the coaches are really good friends. They always, like, tell each other how their teams are doing, and they help each other out, so.
So again, Tuesday night, we want to see a lot of folks out there. And wear your pink. This season versus last season, I think we had you both in here in studio about 53, 54 weeks ago now, and you were with Abby Douglas at the time. How is this team different, maybe in terms of on the court? Well, maybe we'll start with this. You're both seniors now, so Riley, do you feel like you have to take more of a leadership role with this team than maybe you've had in the past?
I definitely feel like that just because we're upperclassmen, but also because I feel like because we're upperclassmen, people look up to us, and like the program looks up to us, so we have to be leaders on the court and off the court.
And Ashley, what is this team like to play with right now? I mean, what's maybe one difference between last year and this year for you?
I think one difference between this year and last year is, well, last year we were really good friends on the court, but not really so much off the court. And this year, like, I know that if I need help with my schoolwork or anything from one of my teammates, I can go up to them and they can help me out, and we're really good friends off the court too, which makes it a lot more comfortable on the court, and we can trust each other more, and it's really nice.
And that chemistry carries over onto the court then, it sounds
Yep,
like. Okay,
exactly.
very good. So while we're talking about last year, I think we'll change this question up a little bit. In the past, I've had players talk about each other. Specifically, I want to maybe get more into how each of your games has changed from your junior year to your senior year. So Riley, why don't I start with you? Why don't you tell me a little bit about Ashley's game? Maybe where has she maybe expanded or broadened her game, or where has she maybe grown as a player over the last year?
She's definitely grown on her defense. I would not hit the ball at her. She would dig it every time. And her sets are so much more consistent, and she's just so much of an overall hitter now, and setter and passer that I just watch out for her.
We have to play with these stats a little bit too and make sure we give them a shout out. We have the stats for each of these players from the Archbishop Murphy match. Riley with 22 kills, 2 aces, and 24 digs. Not bad at all. And then Ashley, 42 assists, 2 aces, and 12 digs. Talk a little bit about what it means to get an assist in volleyball for those who maybe don't know, and how important is that, Ashley?
Well, basically, it all depends on the hitter. So if the hitter gets a kill, whoever set that ball also gets an assist. So what I want to do is just give my hitters the best sets as possible so that they can get as many kills, because it also benefits me and it benefits the team as a whole.
42 assists it's a pretty large number. So it sounds like you had a pretty good night there then.
The hitters did too.
Yeah, I was going to say they have to come through.
It was good all around.
Way to give them a shout out. And now, Ashley, tell me a little bit about Riley. And before we get there, though, we're going to do that. Last year, we gave Ashley a Player of the Week shirt. She was coming off an outstanding performance. We just mentioned Riley had 22 kills, 2 aces, and 24 digs against Archbishop Murphy. So for that, we're going to have Riley join Ashley's club that she already belongs to. She is now going to be at Action Jackson Plumbing Player of the Week. So Riley, we're going to give you that shirt
Thank you so much.
to keep and to wear or to frame or whatever you want to do with it. And thank you, Action Jackson Plumbing.
Thank you.
So now that we've given Riley the shirt, Ashley, what has she done to earn that? Maybe give us 1 or 2 examples of how Riley's game has improved this year.
Well, Riley's always been a really good hitter. I mean, varsity as a sophomore, that's crazy. But I think especially this year, I've noticed that she's a really, really smart player. So she'll hit a couple balls really, really hard, get the other team's defense on their heels, and then she'll tip one and it'll go down. She sees the court really well. She picks up every single tip. Nothing drops in front of her, and she's just really smart and she knows the game.
So we've got 2 very solid players here, but we've also got a team around you as well. So let's talk about them for a minute. Riley, maybe I'll start with you. Give me a couple of players that we should be watching for if we were to go to the Pink Out game, for instance, on Tuesday night. Who else are we watching out there on the court?
Definitely Allie MacArthur and Kiana Pell for surely. Jaden Angel too. They're all really consistent, and Kiana's defense is amazing. I don't know if you've seen her play ever, but she's a beast on the court. And Allie, when she gets a kill, that's the best time ever. Her energy just spikes up our whole team, and it just brings us even closer. And same with Jaden. She's hit really smartly these past couple games. So.
And Kiana's another one. We see her name a lot in the newspapers for stats and whatnot. So I know she's having a nice year. She's your libero, right?
Yes, she is.
So very nice. And then Ashley, what about you? Did we leave anybody out? Anyone else we should be mentioning?
Lynnwood, she's another outside. She plays great defense. Syra Abiador, she plays middle for us, and she's actually an outside. She's doing great adjusting. Acacia, she's a great defensive player. She plays right side defense. Taylor Staley, she has improved so much. She's never played right side before, and she's adjusted really well. We have some people mixing around playing positions that they've never played, and they're doing really well. Mary Tino, she also plays really good defense.
So we just mentioned, I think, almost the whole team. So it's a deep roster then, it sounds like. So, we're not just limited to 4 or 5 players. Very nice. What's Coach like? What's Coach Annalise like?
She's like my mom. Yeah, she's someone I look to all the time, not just on the court. I really trust her. I trust her with my life. So we also, we're very honest with each other. So, if I'm playing bad and she says I'm playing bad, I know, she's not, sugarcoating it. And, she's a really good coach like that.
So it sounds like honesty is a good thing with a coach, Ashley. You're kind of
yeah.
shaking your head yes when Riley was
Definitely.
mentioning that. So
Well, especially because it's nice to know where you stand, what you need to work on, that kind of thing, and nobody's dancing around the subject. You just get straight to it, and she's really good about saying stuff in a straightforward way, but not being mean and personally attacking people, so it's really productive.
good job, Coach. And so now let's talk a little bit about the non-volleyball parts of your life. I know, Riley, you're fairly heavily involved with leadership at school, right?
Yeah.
So what all has that entailed lately for you?
That takes up a lot of my time. If I'm not on the court, I'm usually helping around the school, like doing posters or setting up for coordination or getting things out to teachers or students. It's really busy, but I really like it.
A labor of love, it sounds like.
Yes.
Then. And then, Ashley, for you, I had to go back and watch our interview from last year. You kind of teased us a little bit in the interview. You had a musical coming up, but you wouldn't tell us what it was. It was a secret at the time. So what was the musical last year, and what role did you play?
The musical was The Music Man, and I was Marion Peru, who is the female lead.
Oh, very cool. And how much did you enjoy that?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I had so much fun. The cast was great. Everyone was so talented. It was a lot of work, kind of like leadership for Riley. It was a labor of love. So much work, but so much fun.
And how many performances did we?
4.
4 performances. Very cool. And unfortunately, Lynnwood only does a musical every other year, correct?
Correct.
So do we maybe see musicals in your future anywhere? Would you like to do that down the road?
I really want to do community theater, so there's definitely musicals out there to do just in the community. I'm not sure about other than that, but we'll see.
We will see. So 2 seniors in colleges. Do we want to play volleyball in college? Do we know our subjects that we're looking to maybe study, Riley, or is it still up in the air?
I want to go to college for volleyball, probably somewhere D2 or D3, but if not, then it won't be the end of the world. I'll just be sad for a little bit, but I'll still try to play on like a collegiate team.
Intramural?
Intramural, or yeah.
team.
There's always opportunities, right?
Yeah, so like I don't want to not touch a ball in college, if that makes sense. And I don't know what I want to major in or study or anything. Undecided, so.
You got a little time still, so why not? And then Ashley, what about you? What's your future ambitions?
Well, I don't know what I want to do, just like Riley, so I'm going to do community college and finish out my AA because I'm in running start at the moment. I probably won't play volleyball, but I might do intramurals. I'm undecided. And then after I figure out what I want to do, I'm going to transfer to a university.
So very nice, and it sounds like they've got plenty to do this week. So again, Tuesday, Edmonds-Woodway at Edmonds-Woodway, the pink out game, and then you've got a road trip we call it, to Duval to play Cedar Crest on Thursday night. So a couple of road games before returning home the following Tuesday to play Shorecrest. So a lot of volleyball to be played, a lot of posturing to take place in the standings still, and they're certainly hoping to get a big victory on Tuesday against Edmonds-Woodway. Riley, Ashley, thank you both so much for coming in again, and best of luck on Tuesday night as well as the rest of the year.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, another pink out game to look forward to on Tuesday, and it's always great to see the students getting involved with good causes like that.
We love it. The students, the parents, the administrations, the coaches, everybody really. So wear your pink if you're going. And not only is it a pink out game, but it's also a vital match to where these teams are going to maybe finish in terms of whether or not they have to do a play-in game to get into districts, or maybe even whether they get into the district playoffs at all. So both teams have a lot to play for, and obviously there's a bigger picture there. We like to see those pink out games. So nice job for both schools. And we should mention too, there are other matches to look forward to this week in volleyball. If you're not able to get over to Edmonds-Woodway and you still want to watch Edmonds School District volleyball, the other 2 schools are playing each other that night. So Meadowdale will be at Mountlake Terrace, so you can watch the Mavericks and the Hawks. And then on Thursday, we have a few different matches you can go and check out. Archbishop Murphy at Mountlake Terrace Thursday night. Shorewood will be at Edmonds-Woodway, and Shorecrest will be at Meadowdale. So if you like volleyball, you really don't have an excuse this week. You have plenty of opportunities.
Great. Okay. Well, now we're on to the next sport, which is tennis.
Tennis, the 3A South Division tournament, try saying that fast 10 times, is taking place this week at Jackson High School. That will be starting at 1 p.m. on Tuesday and will run through Wednesday. So Meadowdale, Edmonds-Woodway, and Lynnwood will all be over there. And speaking of Edmonds-Woodway, it's finally time to do this. Will Molinaro has just been tearing up the tennis court this year, and barely ever loses a game, let alone a set. I think almost every time we see a score for Will, it's 6-love, 6-love. He's one of the top tennis players in the entire state, and we're finally going to give Will the Action Jackson Plumbing Player of the Week shirt for him going into districts. No doubt a heavy favorite over at Jackson on Tuesday and Wednesday. So best of luck to Will, as well as the tennis players from all three of those schools. And oh, by the way, Mountlake Terrace just had their sub-district tournament over the weekend, and that was at Mountlake Terrace High School. They didn't have to travel very far. So they were going up against the likes of Archbishop Murphy, Sammamish, and Liberty. So since that tournament just took place, we thought it was a good weekend to bring in two of the Mountlake Terrace tennis players and talk about not only the tournament, but also their season as a whole. Here's the conversation we did with Alec and Marck. The Mountlake Terrace High School tennis team had their sub-district tournament over the weekend, and joining us right now, two of the members of that team, senior Alex Ung and junior Marck Primavera. Guys, your season came to an end, unfortunately, this weekend, but nonetheless, a fun season. It seemed like everybody had a pretty good time. Let's talk first and foremost about the sub-district. A little bit different this year in that last year, all 14 schools all met up in Skagit for one big district tournament. This year, they divided it in half, which meant not only did you get to stay closer to home, you guys got to stay at home. You guys played at Mountlake Terrace High School. Marck, tell me a little bit about that, because this tournament started at 11 a.m. on Friday morning.
Yeah.
So you guys didn't play until closer to around 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So what did the next 3 hours look like? Were you in class? Were you watching the tournament? What was going on?
So for me and Alec, we both got out of school around 10-ish, and we just stayed to watch the team, support them. But other than that, we were sitting in the cold, just waiting for our next match to start. But it was fun watching everyone. We just stayed there and supported them and cheered them on.
Alec, was that a little bit strange for you, knowing that you guys are out at the tennis courts right next to the school and that all your classmates are still in class and you guys are out watching tennis?
Yeah, it was strange. And then some classmates also just came and watched too. But yeah, it was a weird experience.
Was that lunch breaks, or were they skipping out and watching you guys? Or what was going on?
I think it was lunch break because we got off around 10 a.m. and then it progressed into 11 a.m. So it was lunchtime for them. So
Friday was a sunny day, but it was cold in the morning. It still felt like fall. I mean, so Alec, what was that like for you guys in terms of trying to get yourself ready for a match and at the same time remain comfortable, right?
yeah, we had to stay kind of warm because we like you said, we didn't play until maybe 3 hours in the match, so we were very stiff. So when we played, we had to kind of stretch. We had a little time to stretch, but we had to adapt pretty quickly.
What's it like for you, Marck? Because I know often you guys go straight from school usually to playing an afternoon match, and there's really very little time, just a few minutes in between, and all of a sudden now you have all this extra time. I mean, does it take you out of your rhythm a little bit in terms of preparation, or what was that morning like for you?
I think I felt a little more relaxed, a little more calm, so I had a little bit more time to think about how we would play for our next match, how to prepare, and just more time to stretch out and just work out the kinks with Alec for our double strategies. Yeah.
So the two of you playing doubles together at districts, and yet both of you play singles during the year. And this was the same formula last year too, right? You were both singles players during the season, and then you got together and played doubles at the end. Alec, what is that like? Because I would think that even though it's still tennis, there is a chemistry that needs to be had between a doubles teammate. I mean, is it a tough transition for you when you go into districts like that?
Oh yeah, it's definitely tough because for singles and doubles, it's a big difference. People might not think it is, but there's different strategies because for doubles, to win a lot of points, you would have to win at the net. And then for singles, you can kind of win off just rallying off each other. But yeah, it was a big difference for me.
So was the strategy more or less, let's have you go play doubles because maybe we can give you a better chance to get to the next round, or why doubles as opposed to just going in there as individuals?
I think coach thought we had a better chance of me and Marck playing together instead of just playing singles because there's tough singles player out there for postseason that won state several times. So.
Yeah, we should mention Liberty was one of the 4 schools that was at the sub-district, and Liberty, notorious for putting out very good tennis players, and I think they won a couple of state championships last year for that matter. So, Marck, what was this like? Because we had Archbishop Murphy, Sammamish, Liberty, and Mountlake Terrace, schools that really don't know one another. Is that kind of exciting for you, or would you rather, with Wesco 3A, at least everybody knows each other? Do you like the chance to go against new opponents on a district basis?
Yeah, I think it's a little more exciting. We don't know how well they are or what their strengths or their weaknesses are. So for me and Alec, we have to like adapt quicker and like think about our strategy a little bit more. We have to put more thought in about how we're playing. And other than that, like if we played our regular teammate or our regular opponents, we already know how they play, and there's like a little bit of rivalry, so it kind of gets into our heads a little bit. And me and Alec kind of get like emotional, a little angry when we play. So it was nice to playing like different people, but it was like nice to just test out new strategies and see how they play and like analyze their game.
And all in all, you won your first match, you lost your next two, but again, these are some really tough opponents here. Alec, I know we were already talking before the cameras were rolling. Sounds like you're feeling pretty good about the way things played out, though, right?
Yeah, because we were playing teams that had a lot of chemistry. They've been playing together for the whole regular season, and me and Mark, we just started playing together. But yeah, I thought we did pretty well for the amount of time we played together. Yeah.
Well, and you lost that final set. I think it was 6-4, and it was a 3-set match. So you won a set. So I've got to think from that standpoint. When you walked off from that match in particular, heads were held pretty high at that point.
Yes and no, because I felt like we could have done. I felt like we could have won that match, to be honest. But in the end, I'm still proud of what me and Mark did.
Tell me a little bit about each other's game. Mark, I'll start with you. I know the two of you, obviously, you're playing doubles together, but also you play singles and you practiced against one another. So what exactly is it about Alec that has a strong suit to his game? What does he do well out there on the tennis court?
I think one thing like that surprises a lot of people is that he's like left-handed. So on his serves, like from the deuce side, when he has a serve, it goes out really far wide. And that like sets me up perfectly for like a good shot down the line or like to cross the court and hit it away from the people, and that wins us a lot of points usually. And then Alec's also like really really good at the net. It's like every time I serve or like rally and I hit the shot wide, Alec has like a perfect setup to like hit the shot right in between them and win a few points. I think that's how we won a lot of our points with Alec at the net, just finishing off a lot of points.
And now, Alec, what about Mark? What does he do well out there?
Mark has a extremely strong first serve, and he can win a lot of points off that. And also his ground strokes, he can hit some really nice ground strokes that are a lot of the time winners for us, which gets us a lot of points. Yeah.
Now, I think when we had Mark and Jake in here last year for an interview, Jake mentioned that you have I think the term was crazy spin on your serve. Is the spin still there on the serve, or how's that going?
No, not anymore. Right now, I think my serve is just flat, so I just like try to go as much power as I can now and try to like ace them. And my serve, like the spin now is like on my second serve, and it's like just to keep the ball in, keep the play, or keep our chances in for the next point.
And we should give a shout out here while we're at it too to Anthony Bunyan. He was the one player from Mountlake Terrace that did advance to next week. How was that for you guys as teammates watching your? Because I know he was one of the final matches of the day too yesterday. Did you stick around to watch him, and how excited were you for him to move on, Alec?
I was actually impressed of how well Anthony played. He played the guy that me and Mark lost to in the regular season, so that was very surprising for me. I think Anthony just has a different game than me and Mark. He can just be more consistent and rally with the opponent a lot longer. But yeah, I was surprised.
Anthony heading up to Skagit next week to participate in the districts early next Friday and Saturday morning. Are you guys Friday? You don't have school, so Mark is there talking, maybe trying to get up there and supporting him, or
Yeah, if I wake up early enough, I'll be there to support him and watch him play.
That's an early morning, isn't it?
Yeah, early,
So
like 7 a.m.
Tell me a little bit about this team. Other than the three of you, the two of you and Anthony, who else were we watching this year? Alec, maybe I'll let you mention a few names for us.
We're watching Lucas Lemus, who's also a senior, and then also Ethan Cruz. He's a senior, but this was actually his first year playing, and he got introduced to tennis 2 or 3 months ago, so he's very new, but he picked up the game quickly, and he's gotten the 4th singles spot, I believe. So yeah, he improved a lot.
And Mark, what about some of the doubles players that we've watched out there this year?
From what I remember, we had Lucas Lemus, Andy Shaw, Andrew Daly, Andrew Doty, Jack Ledford, Cooper McCarthy, and Marcus Nelson. They all rotated in doubles, and they all like played their hearts out during the season.
And you guys had a lot of close matches this year. A handful of 4-3 matches in sevens. I got to think that's created a lot of great memories for you guys as well. Alec, do you have maybe one or two favorite memories of the season for Mountlake Terrace tennis?
I remember this one time we played Archbishop Murphy at their home court. and it was 3-3. We won 3 games. They won 3 games, and there was one doubles match still playing, which would decide who would win. And our team pulled it off, and everyone was just a moment. We were all cheering for them. It was crazy.
And like it was like probably like 6 p.m. or like almost 7, and like it was like almost pitch black. Like you could barely see the ball hitting, and like they played for a really long time, and like just the fact that they won like at like 7, maybe 7 p.m. and then we come home, we're on the bus, we're just like cheering, we're so happy and relieved we won.
I can imagine. Yeah, those 4-3 matches are thrilling, especially like you mentioned when it comes right down to that 7th match. So it's everybody gathered around the courts at that point, watching both sides.
Yeah.
So a lot of fun to have this year for this Mountlake Terrace team, and I've got to think you're feeling pretty good about the way things played out for the most part. And Alec, for you, I know playing number 1 singles this year in Wesco, we might add 3A, where they play some really good tennis. I'm sure you've had your share of tough matches this year.
Yeah, I had a tough season, but like you said, we were playing 3A teams for the regular season, and then the postseason would be 2A teams. But yeah, it was just a great learning experience for me.
Do you feel like you're a better player for going through that?
Oh yeah, because I played experienced players like from Woodway. There's a guy that won state, so yeah.
Yeah, Will Molinaro, who we've heard a number of great things about this year. So yeah, it sounds like a great season. I know a lot still ahead for both of you. Mark, you're only a junior. So going into next year, what do you hope to improve on? Maybe give me 1 or 2 things from your game that you'd like to see yourself elevate or take to the next level before next year.
I think right now I'm trying to focus like on my serves and then my volleys right now, because I think serves are like the biggest part of, or like it's like 50% of the game. If you can't make your serve in, then you're gonna lose like a lot of points from that. And then volleys are like extremely important because that's like a big way to finish the points, especially in singles. If you get up to the net first, then like you're gonna dominate the point, and that's how a lot of the times you can win your matches from volleying at the net.
And soccer's coming up for you too, right?
Yeah.
So we're ready for another soccer season. Hopefully.
Getting ready, yeah.
There we go. And now, Alec, what about you? This is your senior year, so you're done playing tennis at Mountlake Terrace. I'm guessing that you're far from ready to put down your racket forever, though. So what does the future hold in store for you, maybe for tennis and also for school?
For tennis-wise, I think I'll still be playing tennis just for fun because it's just a great hobby and a great sport. But for the rest of my senior year, I think I'm just going to try to make the most out of it, have fun, and then also college is coming up too. So I have to think about that.
You've got a lot of things into really solid perspective there. So nicely done, guys. Congratulations on a successful season, and we'll certainly be rooting Anthony on next week up in Skagit. So again, Mark, Alec, thank you for coming in, and best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, I would say that if anybody has some spare time in their afternoon to go to that district tennis tournament, the 3A tournament, it's well worth it. As you know, my daughter played tennis, and those tournaments are just a lot of fun, very exciting. You can go from one match to the next. And a shout out to Edmonds-Woodway boys for winning the West Coast South title.
First time they've ever won that South title since they went to a South division. They split the Wesco Conference up back in 2012, and since that time, a shoreline school, so either Shorecrest or Shorewood, has won the South Division each and every year. Edmonds-Woodway finally breaking that streak. We should point out Edmonds-Woodway was playing 4A for a few years during that that duration, but nonetheless, that's been a stranglehold that the shoreline schools have had on that title ever since it started. And Edmonds-Woodway doing it in a big way this year, undefeated, and I think 9 of their last 10 matches they've played as a team, they've defeated another school 7-0.
Yeah.
7-0, 9 out of 10 times. So they're not even dropping sets or any matches individually or as doubles. So an Edmonds-Woodway team that has just been on fire all season. Competition is probably going to get a little stiffer now. You've got other schools that are going to be into the equation as we move forward. But yeah, an Edmonds-Woodway school that has a lot to be proud of tennis-wise this year. So it should be fun to see how they do at Jackson.
That's very good. Okay, well, and we've got a little swimming to, I'm just not going to even go with the dive into pun, but I did. So what's up with swimming?
Yeah, speaking of Edmonds School District events, we have the Edmonds School District meet coming up next Saturday. That's going to be at 3 p.m. at the Lynnwood Pool. And that's also the one time a year where the 4 Edmonds School District schools get together and compete against one another before they head off into the larger district. So should be interesting to see. And then we're going to bring a little soccer to the forefront here before we sign off on the show too. Edmonds-Woodway Warriors, what a week.
What a week.
Talking about more Warrior sports, right? We mentioned last week on the show that they had a big battle for first place coming up against Cedar Crest. When we filmed the show last week, they were tied for first place. They are no longer tied for first place because Edmonds-Woodway defeated Cedar Crest 1-0 last week. And then they played Shorecrest, another really strong school, fell behind 2-0 first half, and they scored 3 goals in the second half to win 3-2. So the Edmonds-Woodway Warriors now 10 wins, 1 loss record on the season as far as league play, holding a slim lead over both Cedar Crest, Archbishop Murphy, and Shorewood. So the Warriors looking like they're in pretty good shape as they start to head down the stretch at the end of the season. And just to give you a rundown as to some of the big matchups coming up in soccer this week, Tuesday night, all 4 of our schools are in action against one another. Mountlake Terrace will be playing Meadowdale over at Edmonds Stadium at 7:30 that night. Edmonds-Woodway will be at Lynnwood at 7:30 over at Lynnwood High School. So again, that's Tuesday night. And then on Thursday night, Edmonds-Woodway is over at Shoreline Stadium against Shorewood. We don't often mention a lot of the road matches here, but that's a big one there because Shorewood is 8 wins, 2 losses, and 1 tie on the year. So a really big matchup coming up there. Cedar Crest will be at Lynnwood that night, and then Shorecrest will be taking on Meadowdale over at Edmonds Stadium at 7:30. So a lot of good soccer matches to come this week.
A lot of good choices if you want to go out and support our local teams.
Indeed.
And I think that will do it for us this week, yes?
I think we've covered everything this week.
Very good. Okay. We will see you next week. Have a great week, everybody.
Take care.